good afternoon, Han. It's great to see you again.
Hi, Sarah. Good to be back.
We're getting a good run of these fabulous videos together. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for all those who are watching or new to watching, this is Hannah Purslow, who is an HRBP for a global organisation. And we've been discussing all nature of recruitment matters. And as to where we are in the world right now, which is actually March 2021, a year on from original lockdown number 1, which is quite incredible. And obviously, with the changing world that we're in, we're now sort of considering people returning to work, returning from furlough, or potentially being made redundant, having long periods of furlough, but searching and looking for new roles. And we're kind of going to discuss today, just for a short time, what that means to you as a potential employee of an organisation applying for jobs and making that shift back over. I mean, what do you think, Han, in terms of, I know business-wise you're looking at moving forward, it probably being a hybrid, but I think organisations have, depending upon the way they operate, there's going to be all nature of work styles, I think, out there.
Definitely, yeah. And I think, as we were speaking about last time, Sarah, it's a whole new world ahead of us and a different world. So with that comes change, and with that comes a little bit of panic for some people and a lot of excitement for others. And I think it's just a case of, prospective candidates and new employees to organisations, people looking for new roles. You've got to have in your mind that at some point you're going to have to adapt to something that's a little bit new. So it's not going to be how it was a year ago. I actually had someone say to me the other day, happy working from home anniversary. We've been at home for a year now. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, we never would have thought that. But, we've all persevered and we've all got through it, which is amazing. And the fact that we can look back and go, yeah, 12 months ago, who'd have thought, kind of thing. But yeah, when we look to go forward, and as people, as we were speaking about just before, guys on furlough who are coming back, who have potentially been out of work for the whole of the pandemic, maybe doing a bit here and there, but nothing like they were before. Not only are they going to have a bit of a shock to the system in terms of coming back into 9-to-5 work or whatever it might be, but also what that looks like in terms of where they work. So I think there's a lot of things ahead, and I think people need to be prepared to adapt. And it's not always easy. We're not saying it's a click of the fingers and you go out there and there's a new normal and it fits for you perfectly. I think there's going to be a lot to navigate and figure out along the way, but I think adapting is going to be really key.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with you. And the conversations I'm having from my recruitment business perspective is that there are people that have got the mindset, well, I've been on furlough, I want to get back full time. Well, it might not be a full time, it might be a hybrid, full time working from home, part time. But there's also people that are and have been furloughed who think that it's actually, I just want to work from home and the business can adapt around me. But it's about communication, it's about understanding that as an employee, companies are in the same sort of position as you've said, that there's a lot of learning, a lot of adapting, a lot of trying to make it work.
Absolutely.
But different companies operate in different ways, and it's being mindful of adapting to whatever it is that you want to do. And it's
definitely.
If you are looking for a new role and you're wanting to change jobs, or you could say we're coming back off furlough, off redundancy, or what have you, it's looking to what's out there and being aware that if a company wants you to work in the office, well, maybe that is the case and that's what you have to do. Or it's just being mindful. And as you said, it's about it's about adapting. And let's face it, we've all had a year of that. So I think
exactly.
If we look at what we've managed to achieve so far in the face of adversity, as we're coming out of that, yes, it's another set of change, but we've done it and we keep changing. And I recognised a year ago, and I think we had a conversation about it, the only constant is change. So if you work with that and hang everything on that,
exactly,
then you're opening yourself out to more options, and that's
exactly. And I think for a lot of people, what was their comfort zone in the workplace, and maybe working from home was never the thing where they thought, oh yeah, that'd be good for me. Working from home's now become a comfort zone, especially in light of a pandemic, because everything you see in the media and where you get your news from and your social media pages is all about, the COVID and stay indoors and stay safe. So home's become the new comfort zone. So I think one of the biggest changes to face will be getting people back out there and injecting some positivity into that. So if business are going to pull people back to the office, set it out as to why, communicate it well, get a bit of a buzz going around that. I think that will be really important. And as organizations, everybody, we have a culture to keep up, and we have an engagement sort of responsibility to keep up with our employees. And I think the hybrid nature of what might come in for a lot of organizations is so exciting, and it's so forward thinking. It's something that some businesses probably thought they'd never be able to offer or do. So when you look at it from a well-being, work-life balance perspective, the possibilities are endless, and we're really going to be able to enhance policies and look at what that means for our employees. But then on the flip side, it's give and take, like we say, if we need you to be in, then we need you to be there, sort of thing. Maybe it's team meetings, or it's those engagement initiatives that bring everyone together in an organization and give you that sort of family feel that you strive for. But then at the same time, knowing that, well, we do have the capabilities to work from home, and it makes sense in some areas and in some job roles that that's the way you do things. So I think there's a lot to think about. And I think, even in terms of the health and safety and things like that, when we come back, and the new regulations, if you think about retail, which has been closed for on and off, up and down, I feel for those guys. I feel for all the people who work in retail, especially those, what we class as key workers now, who work in our supermarket stores. They've probably not had anything off, they've had to keep going. But when we think about our retail stores and fashion side of things, and getting yourself back out there, and it's going to be a lot of change for those guys as well. So we talk about office workers quite a lot and getting back to the office, but I think when you think about people working in retail, it's going to be crazy for them, because hopefully the high streets are going to get busy again, but there's going to be a lot of changes for the public as well as the employees on that side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's all change ahead. I mean, unfortunately, the retail sector has been badly hit. Lots of different organisations have been hit. And I think with that, I mean, a vacuum doesn't exist. And whilst it's awful when you look at it in its entirety, I think it's creating ways for new business. And I actually think there'll be a raft coming forward of a lot more sort of bespoke independent organisations springing up, where the multiple chains have been. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think we will see things changing, and sort of when we start talking about retail, more about sustainability and buying items that are going to be longer lasting, and creating a completely different culture around the way. Well, I think it's not about creating it; it's already happening, isn't it?
I guess it's about how we all take a hold on that. And I think you're absolutely right when you think about the high street and the impact that's happened over the last year, 18 months. And then when you think about the shop local and support independent, that was kind of creeping in anyway, but I feel even more so now. People want to give back to those people who are independents, and that's their livelihood, and they've not been able to operate for the whole of the pandemic. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be, I'm excited about it. I see it as a super positive thing. Like you say, change has become the new constant, and I think that's always a good thing. I always have an image in my head when we think about comfort zones, like I said, and how you have a bubble, which is your comfort zone, and all those things that fall outside of it, if you start to accept them and give them a go, they will gradually come into your comfort zone as well. So if you see change as something that is more of a positive and exciting where you can, I think that helps a lot. I do. But I fully appreciate that, the last 12 months has been hard hitting for a lot of people out there. And I think if they can have that mindset to adapt themselves a little bit and be a bit forward thinking, maybe a little bit futuristic about the world of work, that's going to, work wonders for them when they're looking for new roles.
Absolutely. It's keeping a flexible, open mind. It's not
that's it.
Like we were saying, sort of applying the scattergun approach or anything like that. It's being mindful of what's right for you, but equally keeping that flexibility in mind as well, that everybody's going through a period of change, and that, as you say, is the constant. And I like to sort of think of that constant being of change almost being like a structure that you hang everything else on, because before we all have our routines. You could be a nomad, but your routine is being a nomad, or you could be an accountant counting figures and looking at spreadsheets, and that's your routine. So if you then have change as your routine and keeping that, adapting and looking at things differently, it opens out a wealth of other opportunities. As we've discussed already about employers being more flexible, the more minded you can be as an individual when you are looking at roles and opportunities and the way forward, the more things open up to you, because you've got a sort of more flexible mindset rather than really fixed. And as you say,
It's
when
true.
you step out of that zone that you're in, things happen. It, you know, and new stuff comes in, and it can be exciting. I'm fully understand people that like that sort of stability routine, but hey, it's great to do something different, a bit of excitement. Get the
it is,
get
and
the
I think
adrenaline going.
yeah, exactly, and I think it works both ways. Just as much as like prospective candidates and employees need to start being open-minded and thinking about that change and flexibility, so do employers. So we need to look at ourselves and think about that when we are going out there interviewing people, getting job adverts out for new roles and the people we want to attract. And yeah, if we, you know, we look at candidates where before it was probably, you know, we can't accommodate where they are, or the commutes, and that's not going to work because of this and that. Now we can be more flexible in that way and maybe broaden where we find our talent and the pools that we get them from. So I think, yeah, it's challenging times. It's certainly not going to be the easiest of rides, but it's certainly going to be an exciting one, and it's going to be something that sort of leads the way for the future now, right, as we come out of this. So I think it's really interesting times ahead.
I do. I think it's a point of expansion, a point of, as I say, we've referred to change several times over, and it is, yeah, it's, things are happening, things are evolving, and as you go through it, it feels like a bumpy ride, but you know, things come out of it for the better, especially if you sort of roll with the flow rather than push against it and go and resisting it, because let's face it, if there's always something that's going to go, if you go with it rather than resist, which is putting your energy in the wrong place. I've got an acronym that I've coined recently, and I'm be rolling a talk out about, which is Go 8.
Like it.
And that doesn't require you to swing around the trees at Sherwood's Pines.
I do love that though.
But it's, A is for acceptance, accepting of where you are and who you are and what you can and you can't change. P is perspective, changing your perspective on things, so you've got a positive stance and you're learning stuff from things. And E, put your energy into stuff that's going to work, not the stuff that's not. So
I love that.
Yeah,
I really like that. I'm going to remember that one. No, that's really good.
Yeah, so I think you could apply it to anything. So
yeah,
you know, job hunting, employment, just
personal life decisions. Yeah, anything you've got going on.
Change things you can change, except that you can't change some stuff, so you have to change your behaviour around it and look at things from a different.
And I think we've all gone a little bit ape over the past 12 months, so it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Oh, thank you, Han, so much again for your input. It's always
you're welcome.
Pleasure, and I love catching up with you before we record the videos.
Yeah, as do I. Much needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much again for sharing your wisdom, which is always well received on YouTube, which is awesome.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Anybody watching, please do subscribe, because Hannah and I are recording regularly, and there's plenty of content on there already. So yes, let's get back to our busy days, and thank you again.
Yeah, until next time. Thanks, Sarah.
Exactly, thank you.